Yeah, it's cool.
Here we
We're
go.
going live now.
Here we go. Yep.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yagara land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place, and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors, and any First Nations people here today.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt. Good evening to you. It is a balmy, whatever the hell degrees it is here in Melbourne at the moment. I think it's about 29, 30 degrees. It's something pretty ridiculous. I'm sweating like there's no tomorrows here. It's 8:13 p.m. because, yeah, we're a little bit tardy tonight, but things are going better already because I can see my co-host on the other side. I'm not completely pixelated or any of that sort of shite. So, but anyway, welcome to anyone listening to the first time. I am the Kegster. You will meet the other co-host of this show very, very soon. You already can see him. I know it seems a bit weird that you can't see him, but I will introduce him very, very soon. Anyway, for tonight's show, we have gone back to the drawing board, gone back to the old ways of doing things, which is we have 3 segments. We have a chat about them between ourselves, and we crack on basically. So tonight you're going to enjoy this. Tonight we've got Chinese takeaway. I am talking. Chinese takeaway is all about taking something away from China. In this case, we're not talking Uyghurs or sort of religious. Fundamentalists in some particular religion that China doesn't like. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about. We could be, but not necessarily. But tonight we're going to talk about Chinese takeaway in that stuff is being taken away in Hong Kong. So that's something I will discuss in Chinese takeaway. Beerducation is our second segment of the night. And if you have been asleep or in an induced coma, you would not know that Beerducation is a segment where we talk about beer. And we do it moderately seriously in that we will pour and we will evaluate how good, how green, how dark, how red, how green, how yellow, and just how expensive and how high the alcohol content could be. And that could or could not improve the rest of the show from there. Anyway, and the last segment for the evening, a really good one. We haven't done it for a long time. Is Green There, Done That? And that's all about the greening, well, the non-greening of the world, as it were. I will be talking tonight about Rolls-Royce in the fact that they are getting all their vehicles to be EVs by 2030, which is quite cool. There's a bit of information there. And Wency is going to be talking about, I can't tell you because he hasn't put it in the show notes, but that's absolutely fine. So anyway, without any further ado, this evening, I would like to bring in our wily colleague, very muchly adored by all. That would be
I love that introduction every week.
How are you, mate? I can actually
good.
see you. I can actually see you. So it's
Nice
pretty
and clear.
cool. It's pretty good.
And I got my special T-shirt on today.
Yes,
one I got in Townsville.
Yeah,
Brand
nice.
new.
Nice.
Revolution Radio. That's us, isn't it? We're revolutionizing the podcast radio.
Absolutely. Well, we're getting hit up, aren't we? I mean, we had an email today saying we found out that your podcast is so good we need it in our system.
Yeah.
We need you on our platform. I mean, I'm imagining that the algorithm is that they've sent that to like millions of podcasts. But
the bar must be pretty low.
Yes, well, that's what I was thinking as well. Actually, it's not a very good segue, and I don't mean this in any way, shape, or form. But when you were talking about bar being low, I was thinking, unfortunately, last podcast, not because Dylan, the guest, was very high, but unfortunately, the quality was very low. But if you haven't listened to last week's podcast, people, do so. It is a little bit hard, and there is a bit of a disclaimer at the end of it. But it's definitely worth listening to. It is a potty with Dylan Bean from the News Fighters. It was really good, and it was a lot of fun having him on the show. So we're very lucky to have that. Exactly. But anyway, how are you, my friend? You're back in Brizzy?
Back in Brizzy, catching up on my Wordles every day, just about my Wordle.
Okay, you got to. No, sorry, I got to stop you there because in Twitter, this is all I fucking see all the time, and it is doing my nana, my friend.
Is it?
What the hell is Wordle? What is it?
You see the colors, but you don't know what it is. Okay.
How do you know if it's a word?
Well, it's a very simple game, but extremely addictive.
Sounds like Sudoku.
A lot easier. Hell of a lot easier.
That's why people are getting such high scores, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you get six rows or 6 guesses, and you have to guess 5-letter words. So as you type in your first word, let's say it's treat, TREAT.
Yeah.
You'll once you hit enter, it'll say, okay, if you got 1 letter in correct, but it's in the wrong position, it'll be yellow. If you got a letter, or it could be 1 or more letters, if you get a letter that is green, it's the right letter and it's in the exact position where it's meant to be. If it's none of those colors, then you can't use those letters again because it's not in the word. And so the idea is at each guess, you want to get more letters until you complete the full line of green. So
it sounds like it might be worth doing to stave off dementia.
Yes, it would be. So highly recommended.
Yes. So okay. So the new Blurt is fully endorsing Wordle to stave off dementia. Fair enough.
Until it becomes a paid app, because New York Times recently bought them out.
Did they?
Yeah. So Wordle was a simple little game created by a genius engineer, I think, computer engineer. He wrote it for his girlfriend.
Of course he did.
And it was just a little website. And so there is no app for this. It's just a website. And
there's no app at all.
There's no app. No. So don't go into Google or the app.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to go straight to find the app, and then I was going to ring you and say, "Where's the app? What's going on?"
And it's just a little website that he made for his girlfriend. I think it was for COVID. And so he only ever intended it for it to be a 1-person game, as in distributed to 1 person. But it became so popular that she liked it, and she started spreading it amongst her friends, and then it just became a worldwide hit.
Sounds like COVID.
Yeah, but a lot more positive.
Yes.
Oh, hang on. Oops, wrong word to use there.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. I like
dad jokes. You got to love the dad jokes.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So highly recommend it. I'll send you the link. And maybe we'll just post it in the show notes.
Absolutely.
Just a link. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, everyone's doing it on Twitter. I see it all the time, and I see like 2/3 255. I'm like, yay.
So 255 is the game number. So you only get 1 shot a day. So at midnight Brisbane time, so it'd be 1 o'clock your time, it clicks over to the next game. So it's 1 game per 24 hours. So that's what makes it more addictive, I guess, because you get the anticipation.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to have a crack at this. Seriously.
Yeah, have a crack.
It's making me. Look, I'm feeling a bit weirded by it, but look, I'm getting slightly interested. It's got to be said. So
that's good for the brain. That's for sure.
I think so. And something else that's good for the brain.
Mm.
I like Chinese. I like Chinese.
Welcome to Chinese takeaway.
Yes, it is Chinese takeaway. Do you want to take away with the Chinese before moi?
You go first because as you
Okay.
know, I had a little bit of technical issues before we
yes.
started, and I'm
Yes,
nearly
yes.
there
Yes.
as we've
All
been
good.
chatting.
Yes. Okay, well, no problems at all. So Chinese takeaway this week, as I was sort of alluding to at the beginning of the show, is construction workers using metal sheeting to cover up one of the last public tributes in Hong Kong to the deadly 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown, which has adorned a campus footbridge at the University of Hong Kong for 3 decades. So this is what's happening in Hong Kong now. Chinese authorities are trying to find everything they possibly can to give you any inclination of any kind that Tiananmen Square massacre ever occurred. And it's pretty bad. And as you know, at the time, Hong Kong, I think, was leased by England. So there's a lot of democracy in Hong Kong. And I mean, you know, Hong Kong's been a pretty damn cool place for a long time, but now it's just gone a little bit red at the moment. Yes. So Hong Kong used to be one of the few places in China that allowed public commemoration of Tiananmen protests. And the Tiananmen Square massacre came amid large-scale demonstrations calling for greater political freedoms. The Chinese government says 200 civilians and several dozen security personnel died, but other estimates have ranged from hundreds to as many as 10,000. And I did read that. I absolutely read that. So last month, the famous statue at the University of Hong Kong, and I will see if I can share this. So bear with me. I'll just see if I can share this screen, and we should be able to see it. And I'll just make that a bit bigger, and you should be able to see it.
Yeah, so, it's a bit too small. I'm unfortunately taking up most of that space. That's better. Hide my noggin. Much better.
Yeah. So that is the pillar of shame.
Wow.
Yeah. And that has just been removed. And anything else that they can find to remove. So it's pretty it's pretty desperate. The latest memorial to be taken down, I'll say that again. Memorial to be taken down is calligraphy painted on pavement on Swire Bridge outside the university dormitory. So they're going nuts on the universities in particular. The slogan celebrated martyrs, it said, were slaughtered in cold blood. And every year students would repaint it in an act of remembrance. And earlier this month, pro-democracy Hong Kong activist was jailed for organising a vigil to commemorate the Tiananmen Square crackdown. Hong Kong authorities have banned the vigil for the past 2 years. As we know, they've had it for the last 2 years, citing COVID-19 restrictions. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, right.
COVID did it.
COVID
did it. Yeah. Though activists have accused local officials of bowing to the pressure of Beijing, which is exactly what we were just saying. So, so that's some pretty crappy stuff, but extremely interesting coming out of China.
And not surprised.
No, not at all. But it's pretty terrible. But but the other thing I had was a little bit of insight actually into China. I was speaking to a colleague at work the other day, and she's got friends in Beijing. And I was having a chat with her, and I was just saying, so I know that the press that we get and the information that we get most of the time is propaganda-esque, and most of it's whatever they want us to hear and read and see, etc., etc. And I said, well, you've got I mean, you're Chinese, and I can't remember if she's full Chinese or part Australian Chinese sort of thing. But anyway, I was having a chat with her, and I said, so do you have sort of an insight to exactly what is happening? And she said, look, to be honest with you, I have as much problem in Australia getting any decent Chinese information, even from the Chinese newspapers that are here, because they are full of propaganda as well for the Chinese government. So she said, yeah, absolutely. So she said the only way that she can get any real information that's actually happening is from her friends in Beijing, and and even they struggle, and they live there.
And how do they pass that information? Because everything's so monitored.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's the hard
I was asking her about Weibo and all the
Mm.
different sort of, encrypted sort of chats they can use and these sort of things. And I can't remember. I can't remember if she said they were actually talking or it was on an app or whatever. I can't remember. But I was just I was a little bit surprised that even the people inside Beijing can't get any decent answers. I don't know why I was, but I was a little surprised. So yeah. Anyway,
I'm confident everything's so controlled there that even the locals will get very
limited
propaganda
information.
like limited information and just what the Chinese Communist Party wants the people to know. So interesting. Sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
What-
Yeah, it is. But no, it is interesting as well.
Yeah.
What have you got, my friend?
What have I got? Continuing on with the cheery information.
We're trying to keep it upbeat.
We are. You know the Winter Olympics is on in China at the moment. It started last
good.
weekend.
Good. So you're doing. Hold on, I think it's just started.
There we go. Yep, our Aussies won a few gold.
Did they? Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Jakarta. I can't remember her name.
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding or moguls. I think it was
Oh,
in the
moguls.
downhill mogul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
she it's not what I was going to talk about, but yes, great
Nice.
that we won. I think it's our first gold.
Really?
Yeah.
What you mean for this year? Obviously, because I mean we have had gold.
Oh,
we've had gold
okay.
because Stephen Bradbury won gold. Do you remember? Everyone fell down and he won.
That doesn't count.
Of course it does. It's gold. What are you talking about?
That's a fake gold.
Gold in them thy hills. What you talking about? Come on.
Yes. So what I was going to talk about was the Olympians who are at the Olympics complaining about these games. Obviously, you can't keep everyone happy.
No.
And China has gone to great lengths to make it really safe because of COVID and everything else. But some of the complaints that have been that's come out over the last few days from various athletes from different countries, the Swedish cross-country skiing team complained it was too cold.
Not enough Sarah Lee.
No, it was too cold. That they're competing in cold temperatures.
Sweden?
Yes.
Sweden?
At the Winter Olympics.
Fucking freezing.
Exactly.
Is saying it's too cold.
It's too cold. Oh, I mean,
how cold
I don't want to
is
get
it?
out of bed. It's too cold.
What is it? Negative 100. I mean, Jesus.
Okay, so the Swedish delegation.
How cold's it got to be for a Swede to say it's too cold? That's ridiculous.
I know.
Oh, God.
The Swedish delegation called for cross-country skiing events to be held early in the day to protect athletes from freezing temperatures after Swedish athlete Frida Karlsson was seen shaking and close to collapse at the end of her women's 7.5 kilometer plus 7.5 kilometer skiathlon on Saturday. Under the International Ski Federation rules, competitions are not allowed to take place when temperatures dive below minus 20 degrees Celsius.
That's pretty cold.
On that day, it reached minus 13 degrees. However, if you include wind chill factor, they believe it was around about minus 31.
That's pretty bloody cold.
That is.
I've been in minus 39, and that's just ridiculous. I mean,
Where
seriously.
have you been? That was minus 39. Yeah.
Oh, that was in Canada.
Canada,
We were waiting in line at this nightclub, and it was, I remember it very well. It was minus 39, and we were all under these heat bars. And yeah, it was absolutely crazy. And I can't remember if that was with or without wind chill, because I remember being at Canada at times, and with wind chill, certain parts of Canada were minus 61.
That is bloody cold.
It is ridiculous, actually. I'll tell you what happens in negative 39. What happens is, if your
balls completely shrink inwards completely.
What happens is when you blow your nose, you realize a testicle got stuck. But But what happens is that's a good vision, isn't
I
it?
like that.
What happens is you blow one nose, right, and the thing is frozen. As soon as it's left your body, it actually bounces on the footpath. It's the
Oh,
weirdest thing you've
oh,
ever
that is
seen.
bizarre.
And another thing is your nose hairs and everything inside your nose freeze. They actually freeze, and your
Oh, right.
eyelids freeze. And so what happens is you see people walking around, and they all sort of look like they're either really angry or just woken up because all their eyelids are frozen. You've got to actually physically go like that to unfreeze them. It's a very
Oh, that's
very weird
hilarious.
situation.
It would be.
Well, it was, but no, it wasn't. No, I remember because that was cold. I remember that was stupidly cold. That wasn't negative 39 either. That was in that particular context. What I was talking about, that was only about negative, maybe I don't know, -8, -12, maybe something like that. But negative 39, that's just off the charts.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
You'll die out in that for
Yeah.
very short period of time. So negative 31. I'm sorry, but the Swedes are right. That's ridiculous.
I think so.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, they do have a point, but yeah, it was just funny to hear that they were complaining it was too cold.
But aren't the Chinese making their own snow anyway? Aren't they like falsifying the whole environment as usual?
Possibly. Wouldn't surprise me. It's probably bootlegged like they do many other things. Copies. It's probably a French snow that they've copied.
Well, last time when we had when they had I think they had the Beijing Summer Olympics. Do you remember that he actually went up and they put stuff into the environment that exploded? Yeah, it exploded the clouds. So they,
What?
Yeah, absolutely. They
no
manufactured their own weather the whole time.
Wow.
And as soon as the Olympics finished, they the weather went back to normal. Shit as all get out. No one could see again.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
All the smog's come back. And everything.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was totally manufactured. So
amazing. The other thing athletes have been complaining about are COVID infections and how that has been handled. 1 minute they're told to quarantine, another minute they're told to isolate and they can go back to their rooms, or they've been pulled back an hour before they're about to compete back into isolation. Polish speed skater Natalia Maliwecka, apologies to for me mispronouncing your surname, also claimed she was unexpectedly released from quarantine the night before a qualifying race, only to be sent back into isolation hours before competing following a positive COVID test. I don't believe in anything anymore. In no test, no games. It's a big joke for me, she wrote on Twitter in Polish, according to one translation.
Oh, wow. So is she going home?
Who knows if they'll let her out or out of that village? Who knows?
I thought you were going to say the country. Did they find the tennis player? Have they found the tennis player? Did she pop up at all?
I don't think
Peng Shi or whatever her name is.
Peng Shui, I think her surname is. I know she's recently, in the last few days, reiterated saying that she didn't make those claims that she'd been raped by that official.
Oh, really? She didn't make those claims?
No, even though she posted it and then subsequently disappeared off
the face of the earth. Yeah.
So, yeah, so a bit of manipulation there, maybe.
Oh, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time. It's time for this, my friend. It really is.
Get on the beers.
Absolutely, and that wonderful sound you can hear in the background is a beer just sitting there bubbling. That's what's happening.
And the very inspiring Dan Andrews for getting you guys through what has been a tough couple of years for you guys.
Yeah, it has been, but I think we're very much weathering the storm at the moment.
Yeah.
I was in the city today, and seriously, I have not seen that many people in the city for a really long time. I even saw a traffic jam.
Wow.
Yeah,
2
I know.
cars?
No, it was not 2 cars. It
No?
was about 12, 14, 15
Wow.
cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big change
And
because just a week
it
ago
is.
you were saying that it was dead in the city.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It definitely was a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely. But the last few days, I've really noticed it. And today, yeah, it definitely picked up. I mean, gee whiz, I had to go somewhere and actually wait to get served at lunchtime. Like
Wow.
I couldn't just walk in and get food.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So there's definitely people coming back.
Yeah.
Definitely people coming back. And
Well,
such
I had, yeah, go on.
I was just saying, such a lovely day. Everyone was out and about,
Yeah.
doing their thing,
Doing the normal thing, getting back to
strutting,
normality.
strutting their stuff
And the
in
guns?
sun. And the guns, yes. Yes.
Inside joke there, people. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
speaking of queues,
Cut that out in the podcast.
I'll keep it in the video for everyone to see. Let's get on with the important part. I was going to lead on to something else, but yeah, stop talking.
Yeah. Anyway, no. Right. So we'll say the city is definitely coming back. There's no doubt about it.
Good to see.
No, it's really good. I mean, we got 8,000 cases a day, whatever. But ICU is like 70. New South Wales has double the ICU to us, and they're getting around about the same amount of cases. So I'm not sure what's happening from that perspective, but I know hospitalizations and ICU numbers have been going down and down and down, even though the cases were up to 14,000, then they went down to 7,000, now they're around 9,000 or whatever. But to be honest with you, no one seems to give a shit at the moment. I mean, they're doing the right thing. There's lots of masks being worn in the office and all those sort of things. But yeah, it's just it's really good to see the city come back more. I mean, I'm out tomorrow night, off to the movies tomorrow night. I got stuff to do on Thursday for the play, and in a couple of weeks' time, we're off to see Ash, and so.
Awesome.
And Ash, as you know, will be on the show on the 8th of March, and more of that later. Now back to Beerducation.
Yes. Enough with the chat. Come on.
Yes.
Come on. All right. So we've got our trusty little beer chart here. Did you want to kick off first?
Yes, I can do that. I have
no idea what you're reviewing.
Yes, I am reviewing a Mind Harvest. See that? Mind Harvest.
Tell me again. Oh, yeah.
Mind Harvest. And according to this, resistance is futile. Feel the gravitational force pull you in and uncover a new world of hops. Zap your taste buds into the next galaxy with an explosion of mango and citrus aromas complemented by a delicate hazy finish, which means I'll probably hate it. But because I know what happened last time. But I just really like the can.
Can you show us that can again?
Yes, I can.
Please.
Yes, I can. See what it did there. Nothing worse than putting a lovely cold can into a warm glass.
Yes.
I should have put it in the... Oh, sorry. Let's see the can. Here we go.
Mind Harvest. Oh, he's wearing hops on his head.
Yes, he is wearing hops on his head.
And as a bra, or whatever that is.
Does he? Does he have a bra?
I don't know. Is it male or female? I can't tell.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing, and hops. And hops. Yeah, it's a being, and hops are everywhere. Colossal Brewing, Mind Harvest. Let's see where they are from. Just in case you didn't know, alcohol can cause lifelong harm to your baby. Pregnancy warning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just
right, you know,
we're gonna let everyone know. It's 6% alcohol, and it is coming from. That's what I was trying to look at. Where it's coming from. I think it's from New South Wales. PinnacleDrinks.com.au. There you go, people. Go to that site. PinnacleDrinks.com.au. 1.8. It'll be in the show notes. 1.8 drinks in a can.
Nice.
Yes. So anyway, okay. So appearance. There you go.
Oh, nice and light.
Yeah, it's a nice appearance. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a pale ale, so I was
Mm.
in India. Yeah, it's an IPA. Yeah, it's an IPA.
Okay.
So appearance,
Out of
I
10.
would say, appearance 7.
Nice. Oh, he's enjoying that.
Smell good.
Smell.
Good smell. I like it. 8 for smell. Very good.
Oh, it's high. Taste out of 30.
It's pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah.
25.
25.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's pretty good. Oh, aftertaste. Well, it tastes so good, you want to have a bit more. So I'd say it must be up around 16.
16. So that means the next one will be pretty high too.
Mm.
Making you want to go for seconds.
Mm. Yeah, let's say 24. Gives us a
Alright, Mr.
total of 49, 65, 73, 80. Exactly.
80. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hang on. Oh, nice. That's a good
That's
one.
nice. It is. It is nice.
All right. Can't wait to try that one if I can find it up here in Brizzy.
Oh, you probably should be able to, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That was very nice. Very
All
nice.
right.
Recommend
That's
that one,
my turn.
people.
Nice. Now, for all those
Always.
fans out there who are on our side of politics, will probably really enjoy this one. This is a good one because last year around this time of year, I talked about Gab's 100, which is the annual hottest 100 list
Yes.
for beer.
Yes, you did.
For beer tastings and stuff like that. What's popular amongst the people?
Yep.
And I forgot to mention it earlier. When we started our first episode this year, because we could have put in some votes. But yeah, because the entries closed, I think late January, and it was or mid-January, and it was decided, or the winners were announced on the 22nd of January.
Right.
But before I get to the top 10,
Yes.
like I did last year,
Yes.
in the top 10, we
Yes.
had 1 from Victoria.
Yes.
We had 2 from New South Wales.
The one from Victoria, what was it? Oh, you're not going to tell me yet.
I'll tell you in a sec. We had 3 from ACT, and we had 4 from Queensland. Beers.
God.
But for 2 years running.
What were they? Queensland judges?
How did you know I was in there?
Yeah, I bet.
But 2 years in a row, the number 1 has been taken out by Bent Spoke Brewing with their Crankshaft American IPA. So that came in number 1.
I did not realize Bent Spoke was Queensland.
No, they're ACT. No, they're ACT.
Oh, they're ACT.
So Canberra came in number 1 twice in a row, 2 years in a row, 2 years running.
Wow, that's amazing. They're a tiny, weeny little place.
Yeah, but making some good beers.
Good. Yeah, that's really
and
good.
I've had a few that Bent Spoke, and I actually went back and listened to the episode we aired last year on this, and I mentioned that I had it before, and one of my favorites was the red IPA they make. So highly recommended. So if you ever see a
Crankshaft IPA,
a Bent Spoke beer,
Crankshaft IPA,
they're all pretty good. So give them all a go.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of this will be in the show notes, people.
Sure,
so you'll be able to just ping on the link, and it'll just take you there magically.
Exactly. So the one I'm reviewing, came in at 31 this year.
Okay.
In the hottest 100, and it's up 25 places from last year. So it was at 56 last year. And the one I'm reviewing is Hawks Patio Ale.
Patio Pale. Nice.
Patio Pale. So it's called Sip in the Serenity. Every sip of Hawks Patio Pale gives back to the natural wonders that surround your very own patio. A luscious tropical style pale brewed for sunsets, cicada concerts, or just putting up your feet and quietly sighing, "How good." An easy drinking pale, delivering a big floral aroma with tropical notes of lychee, stone fruit, and citrus. Lightly toasted malt and gentle bitterness deliver a clean finish. Now, this brewery, just to give you a bit of background, started off with a couple of Aussies who were homesick in New York, and they decided to make a brewery or create a brewery, and the way they came about it was they said, "Oh, who would you like to have a beer with?" And their answer came back when they spoke amongst themselves was Bob Hawke. And so they somehow managed to get Bob Hawke to back them, and Bob's only condition for getting involved was that royalty share of the brewery, that money had to go to Landcare Australia, which is a charity that Bob Hawke founded in 1989. So
it saved the Franklin Dam. Was that what that did?
Possibly, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, so a bit of history there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
and all that'll be in the show notes too, so you can have a read.
Oh, there you go. Hopefully that was nice and loud.
Good sound. Hawke's Pale. So, Hawkey was originally from South Australia, and then he ended up being a Vic. But is that Vic?
No. So this is a New South Wales brew. I don't know if you can see that.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
And it's a
little
lovely
bit
colour.
darker. Lovely colour.
Yeah.
But a little bit.
It's a nice colour.
Darker than your one.
Nice vessel too.
Yes. Yeah. It was a Christmas present.
Oh, nice. Good vessel.
So
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Appearance. Nice and clear.
Pretty good.
Yeah. It looks good. I'd give it 8 as well. Smell. Let's see if we can taste those or smell those aromas. Oh yeah, I can smell some of that tropical fruit. Can't particularly tell, but yes, some citrus maybe. All right, so smell, I'll give it. It's quite pleasant actually. 9.
For people on the pod, Wency is sniffing his beer as we speak. So that is what you're hearing. You're hearing him sniffing. He doesn't have a cold and he doesn't have COVID. Well, not that I know of.
Not that I'll tell you.
Sniffing his beer, which is better than his crutch. So,
Yes, I see my dog do that often. So no thanks.
Thanks. You would if you could, be honest.
Taste.
A bit burnt.
A bit bland.
Oh, bland.
Let me go for another one. Hold on.
Oh, you couldn't call Hawkey bland.
No. I'll probably give it 20.
Ooh, okay. What's the aftertaste like?
Aftertaste. It's a little bit you can taste the bitterness around your mouth, which is not too bad. I don't mind that. Decent aftertaste, despite not tasting the best when I'm drinking it. 15. Drinkability. 22.
74.
73. 73. There you go. An okay beer.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's nearly a B. Mine's a high B. Yours is nearly a B.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. Hawke's Brewery Patio Pale, 73 out of 100 from a Wensai. And from myself, a Mind Harvest Colossal Brewery with 2 S's, by the way. 80. So I would recommend it, definitely. It's 6% alcohol, so you probably don't want to have too many. I want to see alcohol content.
Oh yeah, that's right. Usually go through that, don't we? 4.5% alcohol, 1.4 drinks.
Yeah.
Standard drinks.
That's a very light. It's an IPA, isn't it? Is that an IPA?
No, I don't think it is. I did check it out on their website at one point.
Oh, it's a pale, just a straight pale.
I think it's just a pale. Right? Yeah, I think it's a pale.
That's pretty low in alcohol, isn't it, for a pale ale?
Yeah, they're usually 5.5 or more.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's making a difference in the taste as well.
Yeah, because it's got a very low IBU, which is that bitterness measurement.
I'd be you
to
too,
30.
but you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd be me, if that's all right.
I've heard you're pretty good, so you know that's all right. It's okay. It's all
That's
good.
what I like to say. But yes, yeah. So that's Beerducation. One of our
Beerducation for
very fancy.
yes for 2022. Early in the year.
Oh, before you go, the
Yes,
one that
yes.
you wanted to know about the
Oh, yes.
Victorian beer in the top 10.
Oh yes.
It was Better Beer, 0 carb. What? Australian Pilsner. So a 0 carb Australian Pilsner from Victoria made it a debut at number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6.
No
not bad.
carbs.
No carb. Shall we try
I'm
it?
gonna have to find that for Beerducation.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That will have to be. That will be in the show notes as well.
Yes, definitely.
Make sure that gets in the show notes as well.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's fantastic. Excellent. Beerducation for this week, people. And now a bit of, if I can, I got to be able to find it. Can I find it? That is the question. I think we might do this.
I'm not hearing anything. Oh, should remove that now. Apologies for the silence there, peoples.
Are you not hearing anything?
No.
That's
Nothing.
weird.
Oh, did you reshare? Remember we did add to the stream. That's probably why.
Oh, what happened?
Because I took over your. I took over the share. Remember?
You took it over. You gotta add me back. Oh my goodness! Now I have to do this again. Now tell me if you can hear this.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
These fires are certainly not a function of climate change, they're just a function of life in Australia.
Why would a scientist want to change people's vote? I mean, this is you saw the spin over the past week as they drip fed.
A poll that came out last month, which found 1 in 4 Americans is skeptical of all the effects of climate change and thinks this issue's been exaggerated.
It's cold.
You're listening to Green There, Done That on the New Blurred with Wency and the Kekstar. You absolutely are listening to Green There, Done That. You let
cold.
me go.
It's cold.
Yes, it is. Exactly right. Exactly right.
That's what we need for this segment. It's cold.
It's cold. Yes, we probably do. Now, you let me go first before, so I'm more than happy for you to go first now because I seem to be all good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not
So
a
go
problem.
for it, my friend.
I have gone a similar vein to what you were going to talk about with electric vehicles, but mine is about the potential of bringing back car manufacturing back to Australia with EV cars. In
Nice.
that, yes, if we have a forward-thinking government, I don't care which side of politics, we could start planning for new electric vehicle manufacturing here in Australia. We've got the resources, we've got the technical skills. It's an emerging field of we're selling so little at the moment, but if we sold or manufactured here, I am confident we could start manufacturing more, just like in the old days when we had the old the Ford and Holden cars being made here, Toyota and all that. So I'm confident we would support our local industry if we got
Well,
onto making.
I mean, some of the smartest green people in this country, namely Saul Griffiths and what's his name, Cannon Brooks, both, I mean, said the same for I don't know how long. I mean, Dan Ellick said the same for I don't know how long. We could be. I mean, even Albo said that we could be, we could be a super energy hub for the rest of the world, and we could manufacture EVs here.
Yeah.
It's just a complete lack of innovative, creative, conservative, just bullshit. Pandering to fossil fuel companies, all this sort of crap. And so you're right. I mean, it's only the want. It's only the want. But have you got some more details there?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It was a report from the Australian Institute's Carmichael Centre, and the report shows that there's still about 35,000 people working in the car manufacturing, making components that supplies the global supply chain, I guess. It's part of this global supply chain. So we've still got the technology and the skills here. There's still car factories that are still intact. So they could be easily repurposed to start making cars again. Australia's already expanding its production of lithium and other critical minerals that build batteries and other electronic infrastructure that will that's part of this global net zero transition period. So we've pretty much got every ingredient to start making cars here. We've got steel, we've got green hydrogen that we know that Twiggy Forrest is pushing, and the Climate 200 campaign with Simon Holmes-a-Court and all that stuff. So
and we've got the manufacturing experience. I mean, so many guys, girls, etc. have been in this industry. I mean, going from fossil to electric, obviously there will be a transition in and how you're going to build these things, but it's not going to be cataclysmic. It's not like you're going from building a building bicycles to all of a sudden you've got to start birthing dogs. I mean,
exactly.
it's not apples and frickin' passion fruits. They're in the same ballpark. So
and it hasn't been that long that car manufacturing stopped here that we've lost all those skills or anything like that. So it'll be so good, and it'll be a good transition. We just need a government that can see this transition period through.
Do you know, seriously, this honestly, this topic, it does do my absolute scone, because what annoys the bejesus out of me is that all around the world, there are decent car companies like Toyota and the ones in Korea. I can't pronounce half of those, but Hyundai, obviously, but there's about another 2 or 3 that are in there now. Now, China's got their own as well, blah, blah, blah. All of these car companies, bar none, have government support and backing. All of them are supported financially by their government of the day. And just 2 seconds, so are their airlines.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this country, and I don't know why, thinks it's a good idea not to fund one of your biggest carriers, one of your biggest industries, and one of your biggest manufacturing areas. I mean, it just
makes no sense. Yeah.
I mean, we're only 25 million people.
Yeah.
Our GDP is 4/5 of fuck all compared to places like America and UK and whatever.
Japan and all those other countries.
Absolutely. All those really good manufacturing companies. But apparently we know better.
Yeah.
And we obviously don't, because it hasn't gone well. It really hasn't gone well.
Yeah, no, this is what I don't get. You've got highly industrialized countries that are not third world countries, like you said, Japan, Korea, Germany, all
highly
making
technical countries. You know,
yeah,
highly.
and they still make cheap cars.
Yes, they do, and they make really good cars. And the reason they are cheap is because they're subsidised. That is the reason.
Yeah.
That's why people in Germany have been able to buy decent Mercs and all the rest of it, and Beamers and whatever for years. Because their government subsidised their freaking car companies. It's just not rocket surgery.
And if we can subsidise the bloody fossil fuel industries here, surely we can subsidise a good industry.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, again, I mean, you're talking about good things because, I mean, we are getting a bit pissed off here, but there is some really good situations coming out of, obviously, EVs now. And I actually went for a ride in a Tesla. A friend of mine bought one moderately recently, and that was pretty amazing. It was weird as it jumped in the back of the car, and we went up this hill, and it was like it went from 0 to 70. I mean, it was only 70 k's, but it went from 0 to 70 in about 2.6 seconds.
Not even a heartbeat.
It was unbelievable. All of a sudden, I'm sitting. I'm going to put the foot down. Okay. It was just, and I just looked at the speedo, and it was 70. It was up. So anyone that has a crack at these cars, you know, that they don't go fast enough, and all the rest of this bullshit. Seriously. And the other thing is, Rivian, which I think it's Ford in America, but I'm not 100% sure, and I really should know, but I can't remember. More than happy to find out, put it in the show notes. But Rivian is a fully electrified ute, an American ute. And the beautiful thing about the Rivian is that it has this area where you can put a whole bunch of wet things in. So you have like a ute, right? A normal sort of ute, but there's a cavity between, so people on the pod, I'm trying to say that there's a cavity between the front of the ute and behind the back seat. Yes, behind the back seat. So the idea is that you can put in sort of water skis and things in this cavity that's been built.
Right.
And so it's a wet room.
A wet room for the vehicle. How funny.
Yeah. It's really, really cool. But the coolest, weirdest, wonderful, most American thing about it is there's a little bit in it where there's an escape hatch. Just in case you get kidnapped by someone.
That is so American.
I know. I was like, only in America. In America. But I will put some links about the Rivian because it's quite an interesting vehicle, and it's as American cars are, it is a really big one. And talking about really big ones, this is a really big one too, and a really expensive one. Rolls-Royce cars are mythical beasts, and they have a surge of power from their hand-built. I love this hand-built V12 engines. Comes with just a pleasant purr, but no more. Because soon they'll just be jet to a highway speed without so much of a whisper, because Rolls-Royce is going EV by 2030.
Wow.
So on the date, absolutely. So on that date, our founding fathers, Charles Rolls, Sir Henry Royce, first met and agreed they were going to create the best motor car in the world. Müller-Ottfoss said, who is the current CEO of Rolls-Royce. Müller-Ottfoss noticed that Charles Rolls himself wrote, this is really interesting. I find this hard to even believe. He wrote in 1900, the electric car is perfectly noiseless and clean. There is no smell. Actually, this is in the 1900s, so I should try again. The electric car is perfectly noiseless and clean. There is no smell or vibration, and they should become very useful when fixing charging stations. It can be arranged, but for now, I do not anticipate that they will be very serviceable, at least for many years to come. So that was in 1900. That was in 1900.
Welcome back, Kelly.
1900. So that was in 1900.
Wow, 122 years ago. It was already talking about EV cars.
I know. That's crazy shit. Really, really crazy. So 123 years, customers take delivery of the first Rolls-Royce Spectre in 2023.
Wow, that's next year.
Yeah, tell me about it. Nuts as. So other little bits here, really interesting. So the company revealed the image of the Spectre obscured by gold text that let it pick out the shape of the car but hides the design details. We'll have all this in the show notes. It's a really good article to read, and it doesn't go for very long. The Spectre may share components with some of the parent companies, BMW's recent EVs, like the iX SUV, though that car's 516 horsepower is likely too little for a Rolls-Royce.
Wow.
Well, they used to have, didn't they used to have Boeing engines or something?
Yeah, I think
Rolls-Royce?
so.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it was something like that.
Yeah, possibly.
But anyway, electric vehicles tend to be heavier than gasoline ones, but weight is hardly a consideration in a Rolls. Each Phantom alone uses the leather of 9 cows. I don't want to read that again. And the smooth, silent power delivery of EVs could lend itself naturally to the driving experience Rolls owners expert. That begs the question, because I'm wondering, if you're going to buy an EV and you can afford a Rolls Royce, maybe there are Rolls Royce EV owners who want to be an EV owner, like, say, I don't know, Taylor Swift or someone, who's not too happy about you killing 9 cows to having leather. So I wonder where that goes. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Can I have the option of vinyl, please, in my $500,000 vehicle?
Yeah. But yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous. It does sound ridiculous, but I would rather that than be killing 9 cows for it. So.
Oh, for sure.
But anyway, that's all we know for now. Given the $300,000 plus price tag of the most Rolls-Royce products, it's likely to be all most of us will ever know of the first electric Rolls, which is probably very true.
Yes.
But anyway, the significance of today's announcement is that the new EVs priced for the rest of us, like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which obviously we can't get, or the Ford F-150 Lightning, which obviously we can't get, it's that even the wealthy will be showing off their riches in emission-free rolling mansions. And I like this last bit of the article. It says, Mullah Odfus ended his announcement by framing Rolls-Royce buyers as the world's most progressive, influential women and men, promised to carry them into a brilliant electrified future in an emissions-free Rolls. I love that. The world's most progressive and influential women and men. Surely it's just the world's most richest. Because,
yeah, that's all it is.
I wouldn't have said that Gina Reinhardt's one of the richest women in the world. She ain't progressive.
No, and she's not inspiring either.
No, she's more than happy to have slaves working for her if it was possible.
If it was legal.
Yeah,
exactly. So my only concern with EVs is, as a renter, what options have you got? Because we've been looking at EV cars. We've been thinking about, could we get one? But then
price-wise,
no, the charging of it. So most people who buy them end up getting a special charger installed in their home.
Yeah.
But if you're renting, what's the point in doing that when you might only be there for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
That makes sense too. That makes total sense.
Yeah, so that's something we need to consider for renters. But yes, I love the idea of it.
Yeah. No, look, nothing is perfect, but anything is better than what we have now and what is happening and how we're destroying the earth. So, with a bit of luck, we might be able to get someone like Saul Griffith onto the show regarding EVs and everything electrical, because he's definitely the man to talk to. I haven't got there yet, but I will get there to get in touch with him. He is a fantastic person. So, and I think he probably would. He sounds very, very down to earth. So I reckon he probably would come on. But
give it a go.
Yeah, definitely so.
Anyways, I think that's a long show we've done.
Yeah. Look, it is a little bit longer than, but the good thing was everything worked.
Exactly. For once this year.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it shows you, doesn't it? It's we found out what the problem was.
Yep.
Fixed the problem.
Yep.
And
Just
away we go.
Had to feed those monkeys a little bit more.
Yep. Exactly right. Those monkeys just weren't getting fed enough. No doubt about it.
Exactly.
All right, people. Well,
all right.
Good night from me. It is. We'll see you next week, Blurtsters. As we always say, Potty will be out on the Monday.
Yep.
Look out for it. It should be in your Potty feed at some stage.
Or your inbox.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen to the News Fighters podcast from Dylan Bean. That's your lot, people.
Oh,
so
and
enjoy.
don't forget, get your tickets for your show.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes.
Comedy Festival,
yes.
January 26th.
Absolutely. We'll have the Comedy Festival link in the show notes. And just the Comedy Festival in general, people, it is going to go off this year. People will maybe able to go into venues without masks. So that will be just, that'll be phenomenal.
Awesome. So I can laugh out loud.
Yeah, laugh out loud and just have those massive super spreader events. It'll be fantastic. But so it's going to be awesome, people. So enjoy, and we will see you next week. Later, Wednesday.
Sayonara.